Hi.
Hello, everyone.
My hair is so gross.
You need a grease hat.
I need a grease hat.
We don't have grease hats. It's not winter. I can't hold the Jesus candle. Today is June 29th, 2020. We are
I'll put it back here.
reflecting on prayer recollection from John. We just started 6 today. Verse
This is my
1
grease hat.
through 15. Verses 1 through 15.
John.
Everybody ready?
Yes. You have to say yes.
After this...
If you say no, you have to pause the video.
Yeah, you can say no and pause. That's legit. After this, Jesus crossed over to the far side of the Sea of Galilee, also known as the Sea of Tiberias. A huge crowd kept following him everywhere he went.
Everywhere you went. Imagine that, guys. A huge crowd following you everywhere you go.
I mean, like, seriously, imagine that.
Are you imagining it? Come on, I told you to imagine it. Be a little crowded.
Because they saw his miraculous signs as he healed the sick. Then Jesus climbed a hill and sat down with his disciples around him.
It sounds like the beginning of the Sermon on the Mount.
That's just how Matthew starts the Sermon on the Mount. It was nearly time for Jewish Passover celebration. We were trying to figure out, is this the first or second Passover celebration?
Full year or
how many years has he been
year?
doing this thing?
We decided it might be 1 year.
We think maybe one.
We don't really know.
We can't remember if there's been... Wait. No, that was the first. When he made all the money fall off the tables. Was that before he started his ministry, basically? Like the very, very beginning? We hadn't had a year yet? We've kind of lost a little bit of track of time of years here.
We don't know what.
You can just comment.
I can't decide what with the candle.
You're really distracted by that candle.
I want it to look good, Marcy.
There, that looks good. It's right by the crucifix.
Yeah.
See?
Whenever I move my head, that's the problem. Then it's not centered anymore.
Okay, so Jesus goes up the mountain. He sits down with his disciples all around him. And listen to this. Jesus soon saw a huge crowd of people coming to look for him. Imagine how he looks. He just went across the sea and then up a mountain. And
Sat down with your disciples.
And here comes the crowd.
It's disciple time. Nope.
I don't know. To me, having all those crowds around all the time, that seems exhausting. I tend to be a bit of a hermit and like that.
We're all hermits in this family.
We're kind of a hermit family. We hermit together.
Hermit crab.
Yeah, the quarantine wasn't too hard on us in that way.
No, we're fine. Marta has to force me to go out.
Yeah, we're going out today. Monday, errands. Anna's got to practice driving.
No!
Driving day. Anyway, it's just cool to me that he still loved them. I mean, I would have been exhausted and probably exasperated to see they found me again.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
When you tried to make vlogs in the car, and they were like, dun 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 dun, the entire time, and they were so loud.
Someday, when I'm out and about more, I'll make more vlogs, and hopefully they'll be better. I have a new thing for holding my phone, and we're gonna see if it works better. I stuck it down better. That's in the car that Lizzie's taking to college.
Uh-oh, better get that out of that car quick.
I may need to get another new thing for another new car.
Are we gonna get, never mind. We can talk about cars later.
Okay. Let's see, where were we? Okay, Jesus saw a huge crowd of people coming to look for him. Turning to Philip, he asked, "Where can we buy bread to feed all these people?"
Now, let's you guys think about why did he ask that, because this is what Martha made me do. Why would he ask that? He's Jesus. Also, y'all probably already know where this story is going.
You may, but you may not, and I kind of hope
you don't.
It's fun when you don't know.
I'm so sad that I know all the Bible stories already, because then you get to them, you're like, oh, I know what's about to happen.
So listen to this. He was testing Philip, for he already knew what he was going to do.
What? That's not cool. You already knew what he was going to do.
I think it's cool. I think
that's cool. That's cool.
It's cool or it's not cool?
I don't know. You said it was cool.
I think it's cool.
She thinks
you don't
it's cool.
think it's cool.
Okay.
We don't have to have the same opinion. But listen, people, here's a moment of meditation for you. See, Jesus asks Philip, "Where can we buy bread to feed all these people?" Philip had a big task that needed to be.
He had a big task.
He was worried about feeding all these people, and Jesus is like,
Did it say 5,000?
5,000 people.
Didn't say 5,000.
It says later.
But it just said a huge crowd.
Mm-hmm. So he's worried about feeding all these people. So this is my meditation question for you. What project is he asking me about how we will accomplish it? Where is he saying to me, Martha, how are we going to ... You fill in the blank. Fill in your own name too, because you don't care how I'm going to get any big unsurmountable projects done.
Taxes.
Taxes. I started working on taxes.
She's doing taxes. She's not happy.
I need Jesus.
You could pay someone to do your taxes.
So you can pause the video if you'd like and think about that.
Go do your taxes.
What project is he asking you about how you're going to accomplish? Especially if it's a big insurmountable project. So you can pause now if you'd like.
You can pray big prayers, guys. God can do anything. You can pray whatever you want to happen, and God will say, maybe. He'll consider it.
Now we're going to resume. Philip replied, even if we worked for months, we wouldn't have enough money to feed them.
Which is a good point. Jesus asked, how are we going to buy them food? And Philip basically says, we can't.
And
That's a reasonable thing to say.
Tying into the theme from the couple sections ago on chapter 5, verse 17, where Jesus says to them about this breaking the Sabbath rules, and he says, my Father is always working, and so am I. And I think we talked about on that day that for me, what I thought about that was that
we don't have to work.
I don't have to work all the time. I mean,
meaning Philip says we have to work for years, but he doesn't have to work for years because it's Jesus.
Jesus can do things. You know, I'll do whatever my daily tasks are, and I'll do whatever
I'll do my daily do.
Jesus is asking me to do my daily do. But the thing is, if he's out there working already, what I'm going to do is going to be insignificant compared to the work he's doing. So, like, I just need to trust him.
Okay, consider this. Our body is a vehicle for your brain.
Yes.
Such as you are a vehicle for God.
Chew on that. Maybe you want to pause and meditate on that.
Or not.
Okay, moving right along. Then Andrew, Simon Peter's brother, spoke up. There's a young boy here with 5 barley loaves and 2 fish, but what good is that with this huge crowd?
That seems like irrelevant to me. Jesus says, where can we buy food for all these? Hi, we're back. We had some technical difficulties. Anyway, I was talking about why this thing was... Hang on. Okay. Martha's arranging our pillows. I was talking about why this thing was irrelevant. What did he say?
No.
He said there's a boy with loaves and fish. Like, excuse me, no one asked you. Jesus said, where can we buy food? Philip said, we can't. And he said, here's some little boy's lunch. Not helpful. I mean, anyway. Martha has nothing to say about that.
I do have something to say about that.
Go ahead.
Mine is a different opinion, though. I think it is helpful. I think that this is John's trying to play out his theme about that all these people that Jesus encounters are thinking about earthly things, where Jesus is thinking about things of heaven. So he's emphasizing that by having Simon Peter say, but what good is that with this big crowd? And Jesus is like, that's because you're stuck thinking about earthly things.
How was he supposed to be thinking about heavenly things?
Well, he's on a journey.
He's like, I think that these 5 loaves so heavenly.
They have the prophets. God did things for the prophets.
I don't know what you mean by that.
We haven't got there yet. He did miracles for the prophets in the old days.
What does that have to do with the little boy's lunch? Is he wanting Jesus to do something with the lunch? He says that won't help us. We know. Why did you bring it up?
Okay, let's move on. So tell everyone to sit down, Jesus said. So they all sat down on the grassy slopes. The men alone numbered about 5,000. Now here's another moment of meditation. Remember back to Jesus is working all the time, so I don't have to feel like I'm carrying all the load. He may be, even though I'm working along, he's doing the real work, whatever it is that I don't even know needs to be done. And
because I'm the vehicle.
I'm just a vehicle for him. And he says, sit down, rest, let me work. That's what I picture him saying here. So in your moment of meditation, you may pause and think about if Jesus is asking you to take time to sit down and rest, and let him do some of the work. So if you'd like to pause, you may.
Here comes the only verse I like.
You read it. You want me to read it?
I like some of the verses. Anyway, here comes the only verse I like in this section. Then Jesus took the loaves, gave thanks to God, and distributed them to the people. That's so nice. That's like George Mueller. He's like, thank you for the food, even though we don't have very much food.
We don't have anything.
Well, whether they did not have much or did not have any, they always ended up with enough.
God would provide them. I thought you were going to talk about distributing the food to the people.
Oh, we were also talking about how long would it take to distribute loaves to all the people. If 5 loaves is this lunch for a little boy, let's say 5 loaves is lunch for everybody. We did some math that was probably wrong, but we guessed that
50,000 loaves, right?
Yeah, we guessed that it would take him 10 hours to hand out just the loaves. That's not lunchtime anymore.
It'd take you through a couple meals, 3 meals probably.
So well, you have lunch, dinner, and then you go to bed. So
Tell them about some of our hypotheses.
Maybe he had help. Maybe he went by baskets. They bought baskets of food. Maybe Martha said it said in one of the other gospels that he split people up into groups of 50.
I think
So maybe they each sent up like a representative from each group. So that would just be 100 people coming up to him and collecting from for each group.
But even feeding 50 people would be a lot. You'd have to send several representatives. You could feed 5 people. Or 10 maybe. Go ahead.
Anyway, if you have a big something to carry, then you probably do it.
Yeah.
Anyway, those are some of our hypotheses.
Maybe they had carried them in knapsacks, or maybe they took off like their outer cloak and used that like a bag or something like that.
Who knows? Like in Brave, where they took off their outer cloak and used it to make a rope to climb down from the roof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. Afterward, he did the same with the fish. So you got to do all the fish too. And they all ate as much as they wanted. So I'm thinking it probably didn't take 10 hours because you would be continuously feeding people more and more if it took that long. You would have already had to done 2 or 3 meals in that amount of time. At least as often as we eat, and probably more. After everyone was full, Jesus told his disciples, "Now gather the leftovers so that nothing is wasted."
Martha thinks this has some meaning, but we don't know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter if something is wasted. He is the one who created more than enough, and he could create more if he needed it.
And I mean, really, I don't know, maybe it's not waste, but if you look at nature, like berries that just fall off the tree, I guess they're nourishing the ground, and the ground is nourishing the rest of the earth.
We have a mulberry tree near our house, and they just fall on the sidewalk. And stain the sidewalk. Nourish the sidewalk, man.
Let's see here. It says, nothing's wasted. So they picked up the pieces and filled 12 baskets with scraps left by the people who had eaten from the 5 barley loaves.
That's a lot of scraps.
That's a lot of scraps, but we don't know how big the baskets were. Still sounds like a lot.
Plate? Like what you would scrape off your plate again? Like crusts? Stuff that fell out of their mouth? What do you mean by scraps? I don't understand.
And we think the 12 is probably from the symbolism of the 12 tribes, thus leading the 12 disciples. I think that they'd eaten from 5 barley loaves might have been symbolic, but I didn't know what. And I had a couple of theories.
Well, the 5, I don't know, but 5 loaves and 2 fish is 7, which is one of the Bible numbers. And then 7 foodstuffs became 12 baskets, like the 12 disciples.
Like 7 days of creation.
7...
I think there's other 7s, but I can't remember what.
The Father, the Son, the Spirit, the other Spirit, Peter, Paul.
Are you coming up with 7?
John, Mark. How many have I said?
Oh no. Okay, I'm moving on.
The 7 founding fathers.
When the people saw him do this,
Oh, and 5 minus 2 is 3.
yeah, there's that number.
There are
also.
lots of 3s in the Bible stories what we're seeing in the, what's it called? The Gospel.
Yeah. When the people saw him do this miraculous sign, they exclaimed, "Surely he is the prophet we've been expecting." When Jesus saw that they were ready to force him to be their king, he slipped away into the hills by himself. I was imagining Jesus. Imagine he's like the God man, right? He's like man and God all at once.
He's the God man.
And he's
like how Zombie Pigman is a zombie and the pig and man.
And he's running, he's sneaking away. Was that fun for him? Or like, did he use his miraculous powers?
He does do a lot of woo right at the last moment.
Yeah. That's kind of just interesting to picture him.
He did that when they were mad at him and they were going to push him off the cliff.
But he's in 10,000 people. Like, you'd think people would notice him slipping through the crowd. I don't know. So, share your comments, share your thoughts.
Maybe he got
Lots
like the disciples to cluster around him, and then he all of them like went out from behind them, and then he sneaked away, and then the disciples moved, and they're like, "Wow, he's not behind them anymore."
Yeah, right. We haven't read our commentary yet, so there's probably some good answers in there that we can check out.
Candle sinking behind the pillar.
Okay, that's all we have for today. We praise you, Jesus.
Bye.